Krishna Krishna. Hari Om children, there are many wonderful stories of Sri Krishna after he grew up and came to Mathura, and then to save the people of Mathura from the kings like Jarasandha, he created a kingdom in the middle of the ocean, close to the land of Bharat, India. And today also, under the sea, you can find parts of this kingdom. Krishna established this kingdom, and one day he had another visitor. This visitor was wearing a gem which was given by the Lord Sun himself. And that gem was so radiant, so shining, that when he walked into Dwarka, this person called as Satrajit, when he walked into Dwarka, many of the people who did not know who he was thought that he is none other than the Lord Sun himself come here. This Satrajit, who was very devoted to the Lord Sun, was gifted by the Lord Sun this special jewel called as Syamantika. This special jewel, and do you know the powers of this jewel? It could give every day to the person who worshipped this jewel a lot of gold. He was very proud of it. But when Sri Krishna found out about this, Krishna very nicely, who is all-knowing, Krishna very nicely told Satrajit that this jewel should be kept in the palace and its wealth should be distributed to the people. So offer it to the king Ugrasen. But Satrajit refused to do that, because when he wore the jewel, he would look like the Lord Sun himself, and at the same time, that jewel would give him so much gold. Krishna knows when people have this kind of wealth and these kind of special precious things, some harm can come to them. But Satrajit didn't think like that. He thought that Krishna wanted his jewel and wanted his wealth. But even after Krishna's very sweet requesting him not to give to him but to give to the king Ugrasen, Satrajit refused. And one day, his brother Prasena, he took the jewel, wore it round his neck, and went to the forest, showing off his jewel. And there, something happened. He disappeared. Nobody knew where he was, what happened to him. His jewel and him both were lost. And when he did not return back in the evening, and for a number of days, Satrajit suspected that Krishna would have killed his brother Prasena because he had asked for the jewel. So he thought Krishna always wanted my jewel and he would have stolen my brother's jewel. Krishna had never done something like this. But Satrajit said like this, and rumors started spreading that Sri Krishna stole the jewel. When Krishna heard about this, and people were gossiping, people were talking, people were suspicious. Therefore, we must never speak lies or say things which we are not sure of. It can put the blame on someone who has not done it. And here the blame is on Lord Shri Krishna himself, Bhagwan Krishna himself. People had started gossiping, people had started talking. But Krishna had not done it. And when Krishna heard all this blame being put on him, and sometimes people put such false blames, you should never do that. But if someone puts blame on you of something that you have not done, it is said that if you listen to this story, it will all go away. Krishna went out to find out what happened to Prasena. The others didn't try to find out what happened to Prasena and just blamed Krishna for it. But Krishna went in search of Prasena and found the body of Prasena. But there was no gem. How could Krishna now prove that he had not taken the gem, because the gem was to be found nowhere? Krishna noticed that this Prasena was killed by a lion. And this lion had taken the jewel because it was shining, and while he was entering a cave, the huge bear, Jambavan, saw the lion entering into his cave where his children were, fought with the lion and killed the lion, and found this Syamantaka jewel. Taking the Syamantaka jewel, he thought, what will I do with it? So he gave it to his little baby son to play with this jewel, hung it with all the trinklets so that he could play with this shining jewel. He did not know, neither the lion knew the greatness and the value of this jewel, nor did this bear Jambavan. But Sri Krishna, searching, found through the footsteps where the lion was, found the dead lion, but could not find the jewel. So he went into the cave and told all his people. They said, we will go inside. He said, no, the blame is on me. I will go and find the Syamantaka jewel. You stay here. And he entered into the cave. And there, the little baby bear was playing with the jewel. When Sri Krishna came to take the jewel, knowing that they do not know what precious and how important this jewel is, when he was about to take the jewel, the little baby bear started crying. Wow, 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 wow. He started crying. And the auntie bear, who was looking after this little bear, she started screaming. And there, when the big, old, huge bear Jambavan heard this and came and saw that here was a man trying to take away the jewel from his son, he came to fight with Krishna. And at that time, he did not realize who this Krishna was. And there was such a terrible fight. They fought with clubs. They fought with trees and stones and boulders. They fought with their hands. They boxed each other. And they fought and fought for 28 days. Can you imagine the huge bear hitting Krishna? But Krishna now was a strong man, and he also hit back at this mighty bear. And they fought and they fought and they wrestled and they fought, and the bear tried to use his claws. But Krishna was not afraid. Krishna fought. Krishna knew who Jambavan is, but Jambavan did not realize who Krishna is. You know who Krishna is, isn't it? Who is Krishna? But after 28 days, hit by Krishna, Jambavan could not believe that can a man, a human being, have such might and power to fight with Jambavan, who fought against Ravan for Ramchandraji, for Bhagwan Ram. Now when Jambavan was hit like this, he knew he had met someone powerful, and no one other than his Lord Ram could be so powerful. And he recognized that it is his Ram that has come as the one with the peacock feather, as Krishna. Jambavan immediately recognized that this is my Lord Ramchandraji himself, who built the bridge across the ocean to find Sita and bring her back, and fought with Ravan. And Jambavan, along with Hanuman, had fought that mighty, mighty battle with Ravan. And this mighty Jambavan was defeated by Krishna. He knew that Krishna is his Rama. He bowed down and he said, I now recognize that you are my Rama himself. And Krishna smiled at Jambavan. And Jambavan, who was aching with pain, just as Ramchandraji loved his Hanuman, the monkeys and the bears, Bhagwan started stroking his hair, and Jambavan's pain were gone. After many, many centuries, he saw his Ram in the form of Krishna. Krishna told him that I have come here for this jewel, told him the whole story. And this jewel is important because everybody is blaming me for having stolen this jewel. I have stolen butter, but not anybody's jewel. Jambavan gave the jewel to Krishna, and also his beautiful daughter, who was in a human form, Jambavati. And he said, Jambavati will be your wife. Please take her. And with the jewel, Shri Krishna came back to Dwarka. When he came back to Dwarka, immediately he called for Satrajit and gave Satrajit the jewel, telling him the whole story, that how a lion had killed his brother and then the bear had killed the lion, and he got this by fighting with the bear. He got this jewel and he gave the jewel to Satrajit and said, now you know that I have not taken the jewel. Satrajit felt so bad after he took the jewel home that he blamed Dwarkadish, the Prince of Dwarka, and the Lord of the universe. Otherwise, who could have got and brought the jewel, and the jewel that gives so much wealth, give it back to him and not keep it with himself? But once you spoil someone's name, you tell a lie about someone, you spread a rumor about someone, somewhere or the other, someone will keep on blaming. He felt so ashamed for what he had done. He came back to Krishna and said, I am very sorry for what I said, and I spoilt your name. I told everybody that you have stolen the jewel, but you brought me back the jewel. Indeed, because of this jewel, my brother was killed, and I did something out of my ego, my pride. I said some false things, lies, without knowing. So, please have this jewel, and along with that, so that there is peace, and you know that I mean my apology, please forgive me. Please take my daughter Satyabhama as your wife. She's very noble, she's very beautiful, and she's very, very good with everyone. And Satyabhama was also married to Krishna. However, some people in Dwarka, in a place like Dwarka, such thoughts should not come. But they thought that this Satrajit did not give the jewel to Krishna and blamed Krishna. They called someone to go and attack Satrajit, and Satrajit died. When Krishna, who had gone to Hastinapur, when he found out, and Satyabhama found out that her father was killed, Krishna was so sad. But he came back. When he came back, he said, find out who has done this. And they found the person who had killed, but had been instigated by two of them. And one of them, for what reason, was none other than Akrura, who brought Krishna from Vrindavan to Mathura. Krishna got back the jewel, and he was very, very sad, because Satrajit, when he had given the jewel to Krishna, Krishna had returned it back to Satrajit, saying that you keep the jewel, otherwise everybody will think that Krishna wanted the jewel, but the wealth you can give it to the king to be distributed to the country, because otherwise with so much wealth, more harm will come to you. And see, when you have such things, finally Satrajit also died because someone came and stole that jewel. Sri Krishna then established that jewel to be worshipped in the palace, and all its wealth would be distributed. And that way, Krishna brought back peace, because with this jewel also was the blessings of the Lord Sun, that the rains, the wind, all will be pleasant where this jewel is there. When the jewel went out of Dwarka, there was famine, there was drought, there was dryness, there was no rain. So Krishna brought the jewel and kept it there in Dwarka, and all the wealth was distributed. They say that on anyone, and if any time someone has falsely blamed you, you remember the story that how Krishna was also blamed. You will not blame anybody, nor will you be blamed if you have not done anything wrong. And even if you have done anything wrong and blamed, and any harm is coming to you, if you remember this story, hear this story, tell this story, then no harm will come to you. This is a very, very beautiful story. Keep thinking about it. And it is said that one day when Ganesha came from a very, very big party and ate a lot of food, and his belly was bulging, and came and sat on his mouse, he fell down from the mouse, and the moon devata started laughing at Ganesha. Now, when someone trips and falls, and others laugh and joke on him, and then tell everybody else that Ganesha fell down, he could not sit on the mouse, or no, such things, Ganesha told the moon that on this day, which is known as Ganesh Chaturthi, if anybody sees you, they will have to experience blame. Therefore, they will not look at you. But whoever hears this story of Shri Krishna and the Syamantaka jewel, they will be freed from all the sins. And that's why the importance of this story. Krishna, Krishna. And when any time in life, when you're happy or you're sad, Krishna, 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 Krishna. Krishna, Krishna.